Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome here at Crypto Hash Review, where we educate and disseminate information about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies from Muslim perspective. We have previously covered in a previous video how the Bitcoin network works. So a person has Bitcoin on his address or his wallet, and he forms a transaction. He says he gets his how much Bitcoin he wants to send. He puts in the address he wishes to send the Bitcoin to, and he signs that transaction and he broadcasts it to the network. Miners see that transaction and they verify first that the transaction is valid. So they look at the signature, they look at the broadcast, and they say, okay, this person has permission to send this Bitcoin. And then he takes that transaction along with other transactions and forms a block. And then he goes to find that unique number, that unique number that gives the hash of all of that information a unique signature, a unique identity or footprint, which is proof of his work, that he did work and he earned that block and therefore got the Bitcoin. But what is a signature? How do you comprehend what a signature is? I mean, do you just sign it? Is it just a secret number you put to prove that you have the address? Conceptually, it's quite hard to understand what it is. However, Blue Wallet have just put an upgrade to their wallet, which basically allows you to demonstrate what signatures are. So let's have a look. So there's something that's always existed in the Bitcoin network, and that's in terms of signing transactions. This is something that is involved in all online encryption. We have a private key and a public key, and there's that relationship between the two of them. But again, sometimes it's hard to understand what that is, because a Bitcoin transaction is just bytes, it's information. You can't really read it that way. But here we're going to demonstrate to you using this function that they've recently put into this app to try and help you understand what does it mean to sign a transaction. So I'm going to make a wallet, and I'm going to say sender Bitcoin make, and that's the private key and done. Then I'm going to have a new wallet. I'm going to make it, come on, receiver. Okay, Bitcoin, done. And a new wallet. So now we have two wallets here. We have a sender and we have a receiver. So imagine I went to an online website and I wanted to purchase a product, and I purchased the product, and I didn't get, the money was sent, but I didn't receive the item. So I emailed the individual and said, by the way, I made this purchase and I haven't received it. And they replied back to me saying, well, how do we know you made a purchase? So then you say, okay, look, here's the address. So you give them the address that you paid from, so they can say, okay, we received money from this address. But they don't say, how do you know you're the sender? You can get any address and say it's you. This is where you come into play. So let's have here, go to the three dots at the top, and it has sign and verify message. So the first thing it will do is it will give you the address, the first Bitcoin address that we have right now. And you can put any Bitcoin address that you previously used right here. And then you have a message, but as long as it's your address, but obviously you can't use someone else's address, you have to use your own address. And you have a message that says, this is proof that I made a purchase. Okay, so I have a message here, done. And now I want to sign that message. So there's an algorithm, there's a mathematical algorithm that will use your private key that only you have, the message you have here, the address you have here, and it will give you a signature. Here we see it right here, that KFKQ2M, whatever. That number, which is a number, it's just like it's displayed in a particular way, but that particular signature is derived from my private key and the message you have here. So for example, if I deleted that 0 and I signed it again, so pay attention, it has KFKQ2M. Sign it again. We get a completely different signature. So as you can see here, each signature is unique to the message along with the private key. So I'm gonna take this message, select all, cut. I'm gonna put it here. Bear with me for a minute, I'll show you. I'm gonna take the address that I paid from. Remember, I said to these people, I paid you. So I'm gonna take the address that I paid from. Boom. So now I have this message. I have the address that I own in my private key. I have the message that I just wrote right here. and I have the signature. If you take these three pieces of information and put it into any algorithm that can resolve this, they will give you a certain result. So we're going to have this here. I need to make sure I copy it. I don't want to go through this again. So we have copy. Actually, better, I'll press paste. Cut. There you go. So now I'm going to simulate now being a receiver. So now I'm the receiver. I'm the shop manager, and I want to prove that the person who's emailed me is actually the owner of that address. So then I'll go to my message thing, and I would put in the necessary data. So I put in the address that he says it came from, cut, paste. I get the signature that he's given me, cut, and I go paste, and I just have the message. Now I need to, that's it, that's the message, done. So now if I go to verify, the app will basically look at the message, the signature, and the address, and it will say, did this signature come from this address? Because the signature is unique per address. Okay, so I press verify, succeed. So now I've proven through a signature, a digital signature, that the owner of this address sent this message. There's two things. The owner of this address sent this message. And that signature can only be derived from the private key. You can't derive that signature from the address, because that means anyone can make a signature. That signature can only come from the private key. There you go. So that's essentially, now if you're going to apply this same logic to a Bitcoin transaction. So I'm going to literally right here, let's say I want to send 5 Bitcoin. And then, so this is from to, and then I have BC1, and then whatever. I'm simulating a Bitcoin address. It's not really a Bitcoin address, but that's the to address. So it's going to go to. And then we say time, whatever. Anyway, so that's I'm just simulating a Bitcoin transaction that I'm now going to sign. Invalid address error. Oh, that's obviously because the address underscore point. There you go. That's a good example there. So I tried to sign a transaction using an address that I don't own. See, in the receiver section, the address that's up here is not my address, it's the other guy's address. So, okay, that's good. That's a good example of how this works. So I can't actually sign that because the address that it comes from is wrong, and you've just seen it for yourself how that works. Let's go back. Okay, that is my address. This is my message. Paste, and I'm gonna sign it. Perfect. So now, assuming this is a Bitcoin transaction, I'm going to send 5 Bitcoin to that address. I mean, it's just a type in, but I'm saying imagine that's the case. Then I would broadcast this message, the from address, and the signature to the Bitcoin network. And miners would look at that and they would verify, did the person who made this message, does he have permission to even send Bitcoin from that address? And they would verify themselves. So it's a bit of a nice way of understanding how digital signatures work. And there's quite a few use cases we have with this. The first use case is to verify Bitcoin transactions. Another use case, which is what I just said to you, to verify that you're the one who sent the Bitcoin transaction. And many business transactions might want to know, we received money, but are you the one who sent it? Here you can prove it. And also there's an individual called Craig Wright who claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto. And everyone has said for years now, if you're really Satoshi Nakamoto, then sign any one of the addresses we know belongs to him, because he sent the very first Genesis block, very first Bitcoin transaction from himself to Hal Finney. So that, at least that transaction, if you're him, you should have the address. So if you're really him, prove that you're him. And to this day, he's not been able to do so for whatever excuse, whatever. So anyway, this is how digital signatures work, and how miners and nodes are able to verify that the transaction came from the actual owner of the private keys. We hope you find this video beneficial. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, visit our website. If you want to speak to us directly, you can book a call with us. And may Allah give you plenty Bitcoin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.